being Basque is a question of building it every day, okay? It's a question of building it. You don't, it's not a question of going back in history. It's a question of building this identity every day. And this is part of this process of building Basque identity. Being Basque, it's never neutral, okay? It's always something about, not only about being Basque, but about other things. For example, during the dictatorship was not saying, for example, I'm Basque, also meant I'm Basque because I'm fighting for freedom, because I don't accept dictatorship, for example. But after the dictatorship, after the democratic transition, its meaning was changing, and being Basque was a different thing.
I think with violence and everything, it has changed a lot, of course. I mean, well, we are in a different situation. It doesn't mean that we are disconnected from the past. I think that now Basque society is thinking about how to deal with the past.
All my life, we have been, all of us, surrounded by those political symbols. No, well, I was aware that it was something important behind them, okay? And I knew that it was about changing the whole political situation. And I have to say that from the very beginning I was in favor of changing this political situation. And for me, this was part of me. It was not that were about other people or other things. It was about me, about my life, about my situation. And I felt deeply involved when seeing them. I thought they were part of my life.
Los símbolos son poderosos creando identidades, son poderosos creando cohesión social o lo contrario, fisuras sociales, y son poderosos, incluso son necesarios, quiero decir, son elementos que sirven socialmente, políticamente, y yo creo que no podemos vivir sin símbolos. Otra cosa es que los símbolos en algunas ocasiones se conviertan en elementos de exclusión o en elementos de proyección de violencia, etc. Pero en general yo creo que los símbolos son necesarios y son muy, muy poderosos, eso es cierto.
Symbols, as people, they have history, no? Otherwise, we historians won't be necessary. And yeah, the reception of some of those symbols is changing. As I was saying, for example, the pro-amnesty symbol at the beginning, it was a very wide movement. Right now, it's more used by like the leftist radical nationalists. On the other hand, well, other symbols as the lauburu, for example, the lauburu in the 60s with the whole cultural intensity, let's call it that way, like this indigenous point of view. It was like much more used, whereas now it's more reduced to the family, you know, like families, and it's more like a thing of tradition. So yeah, depending on what symbol you are talking about, the story is changing. For example, the Ikurra, in the beginning, as you probably know, it was the flag of Biscay only, of one region. Then it became the flag of the Basque Country. Then in the 60s and the 70s and so on, it was forbidden. So for some people it was a huge meaning of resistance on it. And for example, right now in the Basque Country, the Ikurra, I think, is widely accepted as the flag. But in the Navarre, where I come from, the Ikurra is causing a lot of conflict because some people are identified with it, whereas others are not. And they feel like insulted when they see the flag in the town hall, you know.
En ese sentido, vamos a ver con más frecuencia este símbolo en las partes de las ciudades o en los pueblos en los que esa sensibilidad está más presente en la población, lógicamente, donde digamos existe un ambiente político más favorable a este tipo de reivindicación. En determinados pueblos, desde luego, quizás más en Guipúzcoa, también en Vizcaya, y dentro de ciudades pues como Bilbao, pues vamos a ver más frecuentemente este símbolo pues en las 7 calles que en la Gran Vía.
The oldest murals are when you go by train, by metro, it's from Erandio to Areeta. From Erandio to Areeta. And there were the oldest ones, from Erandio to Areeta, on both sides of the metro. I was helping painting them. I spent all my youth helping painting them, and normally what happened was that the police could be involved, and you knew that you were at risk doing this. Okay, you knew that. But knowing this, the second thing was trying to find a proper place, to find a good wall, and then to trying to be a little bit artistic. Yeah, but for us, well, we try to make it artistic, but our main goal was trying to make it effective. Okay, to give our message clearly, and well, to give our message some power. This was our own goal. But we had some friends that were artists, and they could give it kind of something. Okay. And I remember, for example, there was a guy that was called Octavio, and this guy was drawing. Was making a drawing. And this drawing was depicting some police officers killing a guy. Because of this, he was sent to prison for 2 years. Okay, and yeah, this was this before during the Spanish transition. Okay, at that time, I remember that.
I mean, I have friends who have been in jail, friends of my group of friends. They have been 3 years, 3.5, and then the cops told them, oh, maybe it was not you, sorry. You know, and you have spent 3 years of your life in prison. I have some cases of that. I have some cases of people who were accused of being ETA members, students, friends, yes. It is not strange to find someone who knows someone who, you know. It is not strange at all. Actually, one day I have to pay a fine in Pamplona.
Yes.
It is quite hilarious. I can tell it if you want. It was like a political poster,
Yes.
and there were 2 of us. It was at night, and we were doing like fast because we were in the old town. And well, being a historian, I found it particularly curious that I had to pay 500 euros because they accused me of attacking the historical heritage, because I was putting a poster on a wall. Yeah, so I think I don't know if it is the same than a graffiti. It is not, but yeah, I think that depending on what you want to write and where do you want to do it, you must pay attention to it. I don't know. I was going to say maybe you don't go to jail, maybe you go, depending on what you put.
Yeah, I thought when I was young, I thought a part of my life will be in jail. Yeah, sure, and I accepted that without a problem. For us, it was a question of the things that you have to do, the right thing to do, and the right thing to do was to fight for a better political situation.